the char trying to get up over the falls. There you'll see them jumping. This silver gunnell is the park just outside of Iqaluit, and quite often they'll have polar bears to Sylvia Grinnell. And I'm just going to tell, people ask us if we've ever seen a polar bear. I want to tell you a quick story about us seeing polar bears. So when we first went up, our very first polar bear we saw, this was in 2012, Jackie and I, we volunteered for the Sierra organization. Citizen Search and Rescue, what is it?
Canadian Search and Rescue.
Oh, Canadian Search, whatever. Anyways, it's a search organization. So what they wanted was spotters, right? So you get up in a plane and you try to see stuff. My eyesight's not good, but Jackie's pretty good. So anyway, so you go on a practice flight to actually try to see something. For years there had been an old wrecked plane, and that's what you try to see that plane. We never did find it. But when we were out, we got to see pods of whales, we got to see seals. Well, Jackie actually saw, as we were in this plane, you're 800 to 1,000 feet up, a mother polar bear with two cubs, one on each hip, swimming across Frobisher Bay. And so we got on the plane, and we got the plane down to about 500 feet, and we went around this a couple of times, took some pictures. And from what we've heard and seen of polar bears since then, we've decided the very safest place to see a mother polar bear and two cubs is 500 feet above it in an airplane, flying around in circles, and you can wave and,
So the nice part about Iqaluit is a very colorful city because, of course, we deal with 24-hour sunlight and 24-hour darkness in the winter. So the buildings, you can kind of see on the left there, they're all different colors. It's a very colorful city. We have pink buildings, red buildings, blue buildings, green buildings. In fact, one place is called Legoland because all the roofs are different colors so that we can tell the difference. And it's good for blizzard season because you can catch the colors and when you're in a whiteout. And it's important to have.
So on the bottom right, you see a sign. That's actually our niece. They were up to visit. And that's Bentley, our dog. But if you can see kind of the background, you see a little road just wandering through the tundra there. It's called the Road to Nowhere. And you wouldn't guess where it goes. Nowhere. It really does go nowhere. So the story, old wives' tale, and I wouldn't want to certify the fact that it's true, but back in the early 1990s, the Queen and Prince Philip decided to come up to Iqaluit and visit. In fact, they still have a street called Coronation Street where they actually went along. And what the Queen wanted to do was she wanted to go out and see the tundra. She wanted to see the tundra flowers and the tundra. Well, they could have put them on a helicopter and flown them up, but they decided to build a road. And so and they built the road, and it goes out about 10 kilometers and stops. And so the Queen and her entourage went out to the end of the road, got out, looked around, saw a few tundra flowers. By the way, are beautiful. The tundra flowers are beautiful. They have blueberries that people get to pick. Anyway, got out, wandered around, got back in the car, and went back. And they actually maintained the road. And literally, it goes out in the tundra, in the middle of Baffin Island, well, not really the middle, and it goes nowhere. Hence the name, Road to Nowhere. You can tell about our trip to Cormac Bay.
So we wanted to experience camping up in the Arctic. We wanted to say that we've been camping. So we hired a boat to take us down Frobisher Bay for 3 hours into a place called Ward Inlet, Cormac Bay, which was one of the original trading posts for Hudson Bay. And he dropped us off and he picked us up 4 days later. And we were with another couple. We had our shotguns, our tents, and we camped out for 4 days. And it was the most magical experience ever. And this was the fall, so it was Labor Day weekend around there. The mosquitoes were the size of donkeys. They were huge, and they take chunks out of you. But the wonderful part is, so you go in at high tide, and you get picked up at high tide, so that's the other, you have to time your departure and your arrivals, because the tides are the second highest to Bay of Fundy, so we can get 40-foot tides there. So your boat, you don't want to get left high and dry.
Literally.
But the wonderful part was the fishing, and an Inuit family came, and the elder, the lady elder, the woman, her role was to, when the men brought the fish in, her job was to clean the fish, get them all ready, and there's another pitcher, and get the char ready to hang and drop.
Now, imagine it's just a little bit bigger, but that's all they use is the ulu to do all of the cutting. And she was a magician with this ulu. She could take a char that was this big and have it cleaned and hung in about 3 minutes.
She was amazing.
And what we did do is we actually hosted a few people while we were up there, and typically we would feed them country food. So Dave Paul came up, and we had this rack of caribou rib rack, and there's Dave working away at trying to work a caribou rib. And he did a pretty good job. He was gnawing on it. So on the bottom or top left, the Hudson's Bay company. So the original, all the goods and services and the trading that took place at the Hudson's Bay Company. So the Hudson's Bay Company, in a place called Apex, which is very close to Ocala, that's where it originally came to Baffin Island. And the second place that originally came to Baffin Island, actually Cormac Bay was the original place where we had been. And so that's that top one. You can see on the right, that's there's a lot of fair number of polar bears that are shot. Some of them at defense kills. What happens is that each community gets a few tags for polar bears, and even if there's a defense kill, they have to use that. One of the tags is gone. So, but when you get a polar bear, when you shoot a polar bear, it's probably worth $15,000 to the community, the person that shoots them, between the claws, and here is a example of a finished polar bear claw kind of necklace. We can have a look at that afterwards. Or the actual meat, which especially if you just love polar bear meat, we didn't have the opportunity to try it. So sad. But if it's a big enough hide and it hasn't been shot up, like if the shot was in the head, those polar bear hides would be $10,000, and maybe more than that if they're cured and ready to lay on somebody's floor. So they're worth quite a bit. Are we running out of time? Okay. And the other thing I just wanted to mention is throat singing. One of the traditional entertainment there was throat singing. To me, it sounds like a couple of bullfrogs, you know. But there's kind of a beat to it, and they face each other like that, and they do the throat singing.
We had one year there was icebergs in the bay every day, and Larry's standing up beside one, so you can kind of get an idea of the size of the bergs that were in there. That happened all 1 year because the wind was blowing the wrong way.
So you can see what actually happened there is just very quickly. That's low tide, obviously. So what happens is the high tide, 35 to 40 foot tide, will bring them all in. The tide will recede, and then you have all these icebergs. So you will go up to the icebergs and actually play around. We could actually drive around.
That's just a couple of pictures. We did a trip called the Flow Edge, and you can take a skidoo and take a trip out to the Flow Edge, and that's where the ice meets the open water, and that's the best place to see wildlife. So if you want to see seals, whales, and walrus, you go out to the Flow Edge in the spring, and it's an amazing trip. And we've also gone dog sledding. The dogs are just a friendly little pup, and then when you put the harness on, you don't get in their way. So, yeah.
questions?
Northern Lights.
Yeah, the Northern Lights, we had a friend come over for dinner one night, and I said, oh, hi, Nathan, how are you doing tonight? He said, oh, great, Jackie. He says, you know, I've been up here for almost 2 years, and I haven't seen the Northern Lights. I said, Nathan, look up. And he looked up and said, see that green, Nathan? Yeah, that's the Northern Lights. Oh, yeah, you've been seeing them every night. Some reality to the price of pop. Blizzards, we now have our own brewing company, so we can buy actually local beer at the end you brew, and the picture on the right is just an example of the sea lift.
What an adventure for 7 or 8 years of your life. And what I noticed in your presentation was your passion for the North that you gathered over the time while you were there. And thank you so much for giving us a bit of the history of Inuit and its people. Obviously, I don't know a lot about it, but thank you for sharing your history, and congratulations on your work. I'm sure the people appreciated you and your Rotary Club. I think the first time I ran into your Rotary Club, I think was at one of our
Regional district.
our assemblies, our district assembly. And then the next time I ran into it, I've attended one international Rotary convention, and that was in Bangkok. And you guys were over there. There was someone representing, and you were trying to raise money for a swimming pool. And did that take place? Did you get your swimming pool?
It opened, yes.
Yeah. So I know your Rotary Club had a lot to do with that, raising money. And they were in Bangkok at the little booth, and I remember the gal, the president.
Jen Hayward, yes.
But anyways, thank you for sharing this. I think Doreen has found somebody that she'd like to interview on Coach about your time up north. But this, as you know, this is a book that's going to go to St. John Bosco Library in your names, and it'll, as a remembrance of your presentation to us. Thank you very much.
There may not be, if there's not any time for questions, we'll be around for a bit if you want to ask any questions. And feel free to have a quick look at our table here. That's some of the social departments. Hey, we were going to do one. We let time do one more quick thing. So one of the things we were going to do is give away this Ulu. But what we thought we would do is it costs $2 for you to be in this game. It'll take 3 minutes. Is that be a problem? Is that be a problem? Yeah. Okay. So what you need, take any coin, doesn't matter, out. It'll throw $2. The money that we raise will go to whatever our treasurer decides it will go to, some good cause. And what's going to happen is Jackie and I are going to get together, and we're going to either have this coin in our right hand, left hand, or no hands. And so whatever you guys have your coin in, if you didn't pick right, then you're out, right? And then you keep going until there's only one person left, and the one person that's left gets you.
Don't start.
You ready? Everybody have coins? Everybody have coins? Okay.
No, wait.
Coin in your hand?
Oh,
Everybody have a coin? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Okay, coins in the left hand. Those that have coins in the left hand, stay in. If your coins in the left hand, stand up. Okay, perfect.
Who would ever put that
Okay.
in the left hand?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No coin. Anybody have no coin? Okay. Mr. Ulu himself.
Oh.